Welcome back to the Roads We've Traveled podcast. How's everyone doing? My name is AJ Pelletier, and thank you guys again so much for being so patient over the long break. We took a couple months off to get through the holidays and everything like that, and just for me to just take a break. But we are back now. I just want to thank you all for being so patient again and subscribing and liking and commenting and all that great stuff. I appreciate it so much. But we are back now for season 2. Just a couple things to talk about before we get into today's guests. We're on Twitter and Instagram now at RWTPod. Be sure to check that out. You can also check us out at Facebook again at facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled podcast. Again, we're on YouTube, which is probably where you're watching right now. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to get notified every time we drop a new video. Like and share and all that good stuff. We're on pretty much all the major podcast networks, so be sure to subscribe there, Roads We've Traveled podcast. And if you haven't heard on the Facebook page, we relaunched my old podcast, The League of Extraordinary Frontmen, which stars myself, my friends from the music scene, Scotty Anarchy of Crossing Rubicon, Agrippa from Agrippa 93, my friend Kevin Freer, formerly of Demon's Pass, Jeannie Warzeniak of Crossing Rubicon, and Michelle, Kevin's wife, Michelle from Space, we like to call her, and sometimes Silent Rachel, who is Agrippa's significant other. We have 2 episodes out right now, so you can check it out. Hopefully by the time this episode airs, there'll be another one out, but that one's going to be more once, maybe twice a month. As for this show, we're going from weekly to bi-weekly, so just a heads up, it's not going to be a weekly show anymore, not until I can get some more help with the show. So again, if you are an audio/video editor out there, you'd like to get into the podcasting game, hit me up, Roads We've Traveled at Gmail, Roads We've Traveled podcast at gmail.com. Send me your portfolio and let's talk. I'd like to work with you. It's just very hard for me between 2 podcasts and working full-time on top of a part-time job as well to be able to put out weekly episodes of the show. So until I can get some extra help, this is how it has to be. So, and we also launched a Patreon as well too. So I'm working out the details for perks right now, but if you guys want to donate and help support the show, I would really appreciate it. Because this comes out of my own pocket, and it's tough sometimes. So, but if you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/Roads We've Traveled. Become a Patreon member today, and But let's get into my guest today. I was trying to get her on last season, didn't quite work out, but I got her finally, and I couldn't be more happy about it. My longtime friend, Meredith Bell, lead singer from Palaceburn. Meredith and I, you'll hear about in this episode, we met a long time ago when I was still within the Red. We played the Elm City Music Fest together. That was the first time I ever saw Palaceburn play, and I was immediately blown away of how well they were and became an instant fan. And they're just so fun and laid back and fun people to be around, and we just immediately hit it off and became good friends. And then when they came back to Connecticut to play another show, I recorded their set for them and everything like that. And it was just really cool to catch up with Meredith again. She's done so many big things since the last time I saw her, and you'll hear all about it in this episode, from going viral several times between like Twitter and TikTok, from one of her songs with Palaceburn being used by an AEW wrestler now, to actually getting to sing Judas from Fozzy, which is Chris Jericho's opening theme song at AEW's Revolution back in 2020 before the pandemic hit. Her and a choir of people were flown out to the pay-per-view to sing Chris Jericho down the ring, which was totally cool. You can check it out. Just look it up on YouTube. It's the first video that pops up. AEW Revolution, Chris Jericho entrance. You're going to see my homegirl Meredith right up front and center singing. But yeah, there's just so much other stuff that, she talks about in this episode, from dealing with depression and growing up, and getting into, musical theater and some of the plays and musicals that she's been in. And just her journey alone was just so inspiring and so great to like connect with her and catch up with her again. But let's just get right into it. Here is the season 2 premiere of the Roads We've Traveled podcast with Meredith Bell. Welcome to the Roads We've Traveled podcast, season 2 premiere. How is everyone doing today? Man, I did better on the second take. Oh well, we're just gonna roll with it here. My name is AJ Pelletier. We're back, everybody, after a long few months of break here. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that you're all back too. So thanks for joining us again. It means a lot to me. But let's get into today's guest today, my friend from the music scene who I met a long time ago. You're going to hear about it probably in this episode today. My friend Meredith Bell, lead singer of Palaceburn. Meredith, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, AJ?
I'm hanging in there as best as we all can be.
Exactly.
Oh man, how have you been during this whole pandemic? I mean, like it must be rough too for you.
It's wild. Things have been incredibly just super crazy, and just trying to figure out how to keep, a cool head amongst all this craziness. That's all you can do really at this point.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm so glad we finally have a vaccine.
Child, tell me about it. I am so glad. I literally was on the Virginia Department of Health site, just filling out the thing, just
right.
give me the drugs, give me all of them. Please, as soon as humanly possible.
I just had a friend. He was actually on last season. I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but his wife is in the healthcare. She's in healthcare or whatever. So she got access to the vaccine, and then of course, he got access as well too. But he told me he got a questionnaire for the field of work he did. So he put manufacturing, which is what he does, but I do that as well. So, and then he got accepted to it as essential workers. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I was like, I'm essential too because I work in manufacturing and we haven't heard anything. Like, how are you getting yours and I'm not getting mine? So he was like, oh, I don't know. So of course I text my boss and I told him, and I'm like, hey, have we heard anything yet? When we're getting this vaccine? He says, AJ, exactly. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. And I'm like, you should be at the top of the list though, because knock on wood, my boss is battling cancer.
Oh, okay.
He's all right though. He's he's in good spirits and stuff like that too. But it's just how are you not on top of the list? You've got a terminal disease here. You know what I mean?
You would think. Exactly.
Right. But if we're going to jump into this hole real quick and just get right out of it.
Yep.
I can't believe what happened with the last administration with no plan whatsoever.
Literally none whatsoever.
Every news station.
What was that about?
Minus Fox News because they're all over him.
Exactly.
No plan whatsoever, and I feel so bad for Biden and Harris and their administration right now because they are just picking up the broken pieces and trying to rebuild this country. And more power to them, man. Because I voted for Biden. I wanted Trump gone. Oh God, but I don't know.
It's gonna be.
But
telling you, man, it's just it's so crazy how this entire country works. And how we really honestly thought that someone who was not a politician over someone who's been in the industry years and years and years could do a better job. And clearly we saw very quickly that he was unable to. So, I'm very, very, very glad that he's gone as well.
Oh my
and
God.
Didn't go quietly. We all expected that. We all knew that was going to happen because he's a complete sociopath, a huge narcissist.
Can't take any responsibility for what happened at the Capitol either.
Literally,
bro, you literally told them to go down there and make noise and stir up shit.
No responsibility or accountability for any of it.
Exactly, and Giuliani too. And then all those asshole Republicans. I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent now, but all those asshole Republicans Republicans in the Capitol too that are like, whoa, we don't see anything wrong. We should get a
pardon.
Fuck out of here. Like, all y'all motherfuckers need to resign for inciting that shit. All right? Like, the old my girl AOC, man, she is on the fucking ball right now, man. Like,
oh my God.
I fucking love her, man. Like,
so I just saw on Twitter where they were talking about some sort of like bipartisan thing, and then Ted Cruz decided to open his little, rabbit ass mouth, and then AOC was like,
I did
you
see
just
that.
try and get me killed
3 weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah, I did see
I don't know about that, sir. No,
right,
sir.
Right.
I hollered. I was laughing so hard.
So by the time this episode airs, this is obviously going to be pre-recorded for my listeners. By the time this episode airs, this might be old news by now, but the day we're recording this, it's kind of new news for us. So I do apologize to my listeners. This is just how I work, because I work 2 jobs and I do all this stuff myself. Thank God I'm bringing on an assistant to help with some of the heavy lifting here. But
that's great.
Yeah, I need it, because 2 full-time jobs. Well, no, 1 full-time job, another part-time job, and then 2 podcasts I'm producing for is a lot for me. So
see, look at you out here hustling. Love it.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm really trying. I'm already looking at sponsors and everything like that. So you're probably gonna be hearing more ads through this podcast eventually soon. So
that's incredible.
Yeah. So
good stuff,
I'm hoping,
dude.
But anyway, let's get off the political bullshit that's been going on in this country right now. But I just want to say again on my podcast, congrats to President Biden and Vice President Harris. You guys, I don't envy the work you have ahead of you right now, but you're the people that are going to help fix this country, and more power to you. So, but let's get back to you, Meredith. We met at Elm City Music Fest back in 2015.
Jeez, New Haven, Connecticut. My goodness, what a time! That was when we could raw dog the air and not have to worry about it.
Yeah,
just no condom, just like hitting the whole air, the atmosphere raw. Didn't have to worry about it.
Oh my God.
What a time.
I fucking miss you. Oh my God.
Tell me I'm wrong though.
No, you're not wrong at all. You're not wrong at all. But man, that was so much fun. Between hanging out at the conferences, because I would hang out with you guys and my drummer at the time, John. This was back in the Red Days, but and then just rocking out at Cafe 9 that night. It was just like, when I heard you guys, I was like, yo, like, who are these guys? Like, they're fucking like fire, like literally.
Dude, thank you so much.
Oh my God. And
it's funny. I thought the same about y'all.
I appreciate
and what's
it.
hilarious, dude, let me tell you, like, and I'm just going to speak openly because, well, I can. We've played with a lot of, we are still considered to be a local band, and we played with a lot of local bands from a lot of places, and like there are very few where I'm just like, we are on the same level, like, because we play with some where I'm just like, why are we here? There are 6 people like in the crowd, like, dude, come on, you know what I'm saying? I mean, of course you got to pay your dues and what have you, but literally In the Red was one of those where it was just like, yeah, man, okay, y'all are getting it. I feel this is good.
I mean, like, yeah, we definitely paid our dues too, you know what I mean? We've busted our asses a long time and everything. It's just, it sucked that night though. It wasn't really that packed, for the, the conference, but it is what it is. And plus it was New Haven. It's hard to get shows down there if you're not playing at Toad's Place, which is a bigger venue. But anyway, I
really enjoyed it, honestly.
It was fun.
I miss doing festivals like that.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm so sad that they shut down Dewey Beach in Delaware. That was like the big one for us, like in the Philly area, because it literally was just like everybody from Philly, like the tri-state area, just playing for all of our friends and getting drunk and having a good time at the beach. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect, and I miss that so much. Shout out to everybody who was in charge of Dewey Beach Music Festival, DVT Entertainment, all those people. Yeah,
I can't wait until all this shit clears up and getting back to shows and stuff like that, or just going on. I just hope that there's still going to be some venues open to still play at. It's just hard to tell right now. But again, I know we're hopefully going to be getting some aid soon, but time will tell. But anyway, but getting back to you though, did you grow up in Pennsylvania or?
I did not.
Okay.
So I am a Virginia native, born and raised, which is actually where I'm from. I'm actually talking to you from right now.
Oh, really?
I was born in a very, very small podunk town called Bedford, Virginia, where the only interesting thing here is a Walmart. It's just one of those like very, small places.
Right.
So kind of touching on my history a little bit. So my parents are divorced. They've been divorced since I was 4 years old. I was raised by my grandparents here. My grandfather was a Air Force vet. Worked at the Robotex plant that was over here. Just did all odd little jobs and that sort of thing. Incredibly funny, incredibly intelligent man. My grandmother taught English here for about 37 years. So she was a little bit of a local celebrity, if you will. Okay. So anytime, some people saw me out there like, ain't you Miss Miller's grandbaby? I'm like, yep, that's me. Thanks. And so I moved up to Richmond to live with my mom from right before middle school up until I left for college. And so I came back to the area, to Southwestern Virginia, and majored in communication and that sort of thing. And then that's when, once I graduated from college, I moved up to Philly in 2010.
Oh, okay. So what brought you back to Virginia?
My mother is sick. She has MS. So I've actually been thank you very much. So I actually came down here to be a little bit of a caretaker to try and get her, situated and, help out with what I can.
Of course.
Yeah.
Are you still working with Palaceburn? I'm assuming. Right?
I am. Yes, absolutely. I was just on a call with the guys. We're doing pre-pro for some new songs.
Sweet.
So it's been way too long. Like we released Stars Align as a single a few months ago, so back in 2020.
Right.
And Stars Align has been written for like 4 years at this point.
I remember the original version of it when your old drummer was still in the band. And then you guys re-released it, and it's such a great song.
It's, oh my God, I love playing it, but again, it's like one of those things where it's like, dude, we got to get some new stuff. Like, it's been way too long. So I'm very, very excited to get started on new material for sure.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear it. But yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, was just talking about Stars Align. But and I'll save the other one for later. But
of course.
But yeah, I mean, like growing up, did you have any like struggles or anything with like mental health or anything, or anxiety, depression, stuff like that?
So I've been diagnosed with clinical depression since I was 13.
Okay.
Moving from Bedford to Richmond was very hard on me. I think that I had a lot of separation anxiety when it came from being away from my friends as well as my grandparents. I mean, they raised me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was bullied very much so as a child. I think it's very difficult, especially when you're coming into a big city. When you come from a rural town, there's so many differences with the kids and stuff like that. And the kids were mean, you know what I'm saying? But also, too, I don't necessarily fit and have never fit into the stereotypes of what, people think that a black person, quote unquote, should act like. I was very much into hard rock early on. I started listening to Metallica, Slayer, System of a Down, Saliva. Like, those were the type of bands that I was, starting to listen to when I was around that age. And so the kids at school were just like, girl, no, like, you're not, you talk white, you listen to white music, so on and so forth. So it was definitely pretty hard through middle school. But I actually was accepted to a performing arts high school. I went to this place called Appomattox Regional Governor School for the Arts and Technology, which is in Petersburg, which is right outside of Richmond.
Okay.
And that's where I really started to develop my craft, and I started to become, comfortable as being an entertainer and a performer. So I owe a lot to my time at ARGS for sure.
I hear you. I mean, like, for me, it was almost the same. I definitely got bullied a lot in high school, mainly middle school, all through high school. It was just not great. And my parents separated when I was a sophomore in high school, which made it even worse. So it's just like, try to go to school to escape from stuff at home, only to get bullied and picked on and whatever. It's just like, I've suffered from depression most of my life too. So it's just like, and this podcast helps me kind of deal with it and open up, and I feel better by the end of it. So
Yeah,
it's just nice
exactly.
to connect with people and talk about stuff like that. But no, that's awesome though. That I wish I went to a performing arts school as a kid, but we didn't have
it was
one
such a
until-
blessing, dude. It was.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was such a blessing. It honestly, like, I don't exaggerate when I say this. My experience at ARG saved my life, because like, who knows where I would have been had I
Right.
gone to like my home high school, which was really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, being involved in the arts and being able to sing and do musical theater and form a band. My first band was in high school. I was in a band called Panacea, so with my like best friend John, who I
Nice.
still talk to this day. And yeah, it was a phenomenal experience for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I tried joining a friend's band in high school. It didn't work out, and then I ended up forming a band with my brother like a year or two after I graduated. That really didn't go anywhere. But it was my baby. It was like, yeah, this is my project. You know what I mean? But like, didn't last long and whatever. And then right after my back injury, I was laid up and out of work for a while. And that's when I was just like, oh, I need to do something to get my mind off of this because I'm not working and whatever. And then that's when I auditioned for In the Red and got the gig. So, I was in music ever since. So, but yeah,
go.
if it wasn't for rock music, I don't know where I'd be either, because it was my outlet to deal with everything that I was going through in my life. And
Exactly.
same thing with art too. If I'm not doing anything creative, or like this podcast too, if I don't do anything creative, that's when my depression hits the most, because I get stuck on my head all the time. And
Exactly.
it's just not good, So, but now I have too many hobbies, and I'm stressed out about it.
Wait, AJ, what's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius. My birthday's we're recording this right now.
It's coming up, right?
It's coming up. Yeah, my birthday is February 3rd. So yeah.
There you go. See, I knew. I had a feeling. I'm just like, I'm a Capricorn.
Okay.
I can notice those signs where it's just like very close to mine. Either you're a Capricorn or you're Sagittarius or Aquarius. Like I can note those on the spot. Just like, oh, you are wearing yourself thin. That sounds familiar.
Yes. That's the story of my life right there in a nutshell. But but anyway, I digress. But all right, so you pretty much just covered how you got into music and everything like that. But you said you went to a performing arts school, and I know you did a lot of musical theater. I want to say when Palaceburn was on a hiatus, because I saw you post a lot of stuff like that. Did you get into theater from high school and then just like not do it for a while and then get back into it?
That's exactly how it happened.
Okay.
So I and it's so funny because when I was in high school, I absolutely hated musical theater. I despised it. But my mom really was the one who encouraged me to get into it, because I was a vocal major, and I was happy with being a vocal major and being in choir and singing solos here and there, and that was all that I could do. I didn't feel like I was a good dancer, didn't feel like I was a good mover. Like, it just wasn't my thing. I thought it was super corny. But I was in Fame, and I was also in Into the Woods. So that I got a little tiny taste of it. And then once Palaceburn started to take a break, again, it was one of those things where, I'm a creative, that I have to be doing something along those lines. So I ended up doing some research, doing some Googling, and I found this theater in Norristown, which is where I was living at the time, called the Center Theater. And they were holding auditions for a show called Sweet Charity, which is one of those golden era age shows, So I was like, screw it, let's go. Let me just go ahead and audition. Had no idea what I was getting into. But the director, Tom, at the time, really was impressed by what I was doing. And as far as like my dance experience, didn't really have a lot, but he said that I, got the blocking, got the choreography. I could sing really well. And then I was cast. I played Helena, who was one of the supporting characters.
Still cool though.
Yeah, and then ever since, it just was one of those things where I honestly just got addicted to it, and I kept auditioning and kept auditioning. I was in Avenue Q twice.
Okay.
I was in Avenue Q twice. I played Gary Coleman.
Oh, nice.
What you talking about, Willis? Yep. So that was I loved playing Gary. If I could be on a national tour of Avenue Q, I would be so happy to just play Gary Coleman every night. His
awesome.
character was so much fun.
I think I saw you in the overalls too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like, I don't miss anything from like some of my good friends on Facebook. Like, I'm always supporting what you guys got going on and stuff. So like, I'm pretty sure I saw some of those images.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
oh my gosh.
my cat is like right by my feet right
Aww.
now. And she has a habit of turning off my computer while I'm recording.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. There she is.
Hi, baby.
It's Isabella. Say hi.
Oh, hi. She's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She likes waking me up at 7 a.m. too when I go to bed at 3.
I believe it. I believe it, Miss Ma'am.
I gotta get back to my interview now. Can you leave me alone now? Okay. Thank you. All right.
Oh my gosh, precious.
Oh God. You all right? She got tangled on my earphones.
No, poor thing.
Great podcast. Great podcast.
Mm-hmm. We're doing great so far.
Yeah, this is how you record a great podcast with animals all over you. Okay, no, go away. Anyway, what would be your ideal musical? Like, if you had the opportunity to audition for any musical you wanted and you got the role, what would it be?
Oh, Hamilton.
Hamilton,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Nice.
I feel like that was honestly the play that really got me back into musical theater and actually enjoying it as an art form. And funny story,
did you
I actually
see the
did.
Disney Plus one?
Of course I did. Naturally, of course
Yeah,
I did.
what'd you
The OBC, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was really nice to see Lin-Manuel as Hamilton. I actually did get to see it on Broadway. And
cool.
By that time, Lin-Manuel had already left the cast.
Right.
But I did get to see half of the original cast, which was really, really cool. And then I have actually auditioned for Hamilton twice. Didn't really go very well. Didn't get a call back, but hey, I did it. So
that's all
it
that
is what it
matters.
is. Yeah.
Who knows? You might get it down the road. It's
Yeah.
one of those iconic musical plays. You know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be around. But that's awesome, though. Wow, we're just really moving along here. We're only 20 minutes in, and this is supposed to be an hour long.
Oh, we'll find more stuff to talk about. Trust me.
Sure we will.
I could do this all night. It's fine. Don't even worry about
it. Let's talk about Palaceburn for a little bit. How did that start?
Woo. Okay. So, I love telling this story. When I first moved to Philly, so remember, I graduated from college, moved up to Philadelphia. Was trying out for bands. At the time, I was bigger than what I am now. So I was almost 300 pounds at my heaviest. So a lot of people were just like, you're not really fitting like our image, especially when it comes to like hard rock bands. It was like a fat black girl. Like, are you guys serious? Like, not so much. So So I was actually approached by a producer out in Port Richmond. His name is Jason Dunkerley. He owned this studio called Drowning Fish Studio, and he asked me to come in as a solo artist. So he had heard some of my demos online and that sort of thing, and was like, "Hey, I'd really love to work with you if you're interested in getting an album together."
Right.
I was like, "Yeah, sure. I have some ideas in mind." So he and I collaborated on a few songs. One of those songs being "Your Secret," which is one of the ones that we still play to this day. And we just had this sort of vibe and that sort of thing, and he knew exactly the type of sound that I was going for. So the next thing you know, The Awakening comes out. We produced that. The single So Gone is released. Does pretty, fairly well and that sort of thing. But then I approached him and I said, I really want to start playing these songs live. So he got a few people together that were coming, just as studio musicians, coming into the studio, and we started practicing the songs together, just kind of had a, trying to get a feel for what it would be like.
Right.
And the next thing you know, we played a show, like an acoustic set. Oh, it was an open mic. It was an open mic at the legendary Dobbs. Rest in peace to Dobbs. And the producer of the open mic, Vince, was actually also a local booker in the Philly area. So he approached me and was just like, "Do you guys want to do like a full electric set? Because we can definitely make that happen." And I was like, "Absolutely." Like, what? Of course we do. So we played our first show at Dobbs. And then we just started getting more and more bookings around the area. And I noticed that when people were booking us, they were booking us as the Meredith Bell Band. And for me, it was just like, I'm not a singer-songwriter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have that sort of sound. Like, I'm literally playing like hard rock stuff and I'm screaming and like that sort of thing. Like, that's not That's not it. So we sat down and I was just like, guys, we got to come up with a name because this is not going to work. And I came up with the idea of Palaceburn from one of my favorite bands, Lamb of God. They're based out in Richmond from, my hometown. And their first record that I ever got to listen to was As the Palaces Burn. So we just stuck with that name, and it was the one that felt most comfortable to me. I felt like it had a meaning, especially from looking at a band from my own, from my hometown that was able to get signed and make it big and that sort of thing. They were a huge inspiration.
That's a lot better than how In the Red got their name. I didn't come up with
man.
it, but
okay, all right, let's spill the tea.
Well, just briefly, Chris's wife came up with the name, but it was cool, but it was just more about like how many jokes, butt-ended jokes we got from like people in the scene or like new fans, like, oh yeah, my bank account is in the red. Yeah, we've heard that before. Thanks.
Oh no. Oh gosh. Oh, that's bad. Okay.
Yeah, I like your story way better. Like.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing against Chris's wife or anything. No, it was a good name. It was just like being at the butt end of every joke with that band. It was just like, okay, we get it.
I believe it. Oh my gosh. That's
anyway,
hysterical.
Continue. I just had to interject with that funny.
But yeah, so we started off with Palaceburn, and then we had some lineup changes and that sort of thing, and then we were a 4-piece, and then we went to a 5.
Right.
Jim Ellis, who was the original bassist, actually moved over to lead guitar.
Okay.
And then we brought in Darren, and at the time it was Jeff was on drums, and then Logan we had on bass there for a while. So with that lineup, we started writing Curses, which was the EP that we have out now.
Right.
And we actually ended up going to Architect Studios up in Jersey, where Sevendust recorded a lot of their albums, and it was engineered by Mike Ferretti. I had a really good relationship with George Roscoe's, who was the owner at the time, and we ended up going up and we knocked out the EP in 4 days.
That's insane.
Jeff, poor Jeff, came up and he had to knock it out in one. That man, 1 day for drums, because he had to, I forget exactly what happened, but he had to go back to Philly because I think that he's a drum teacher.
Right.
And I think that there was some sort of thing going on. I don't know if it was a competition. He had to be there for his kids. Oh, so he literally came up for 1 day and knocked it out. Oh, Jeff Ormsby is a beast.
For those of you that don't understand how much time and effort goes into recording an EP is usually like 4 or 5 songs.
Yes,
like that.
4 songs.
And a full album is anywhere between like 8 to 12 songs, regularly or whatever. But like that takes a lot of time to record, and you got to book, your studio. It could be months down the road or anything like that, and then you're doing take after take after take after take just to get like a perfect take. And everyone's like, oh yeah, just auto-tune. Oh, fuck auto-tune. We don't believe in auto-tune as vocalists. Right?
Auto-tune, I don't know her.
Yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, sometimes I do too well. But I mean, like, I don't like auto-tune. But all these other singers out there are like, oh yeah, auto-tune's great. I have no respect for singers like that. If you can't get out naturally or whatever, like you're not a real singer. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, no, recording takes a lot out of you, and for you guys to do that in 4 days, that's insane.
Yep. And we had we actually had a GoFundMe for people to fund it, because it was not cheap at all.
God no.
And we were able to get most of our goal. So we had to come up with some of it out of pocket, but the fact that like that really took the edge off. Yeah. And it really, really helped our, to get that help from our fans really meant a lot. So
I do get behind a lot of that crowdfunding too, because it is really hard to come up with, like hundreds of thousands of dollars for recording. It's definitely not cheap, and like I don't knock any band that does that. I mean, like, as long as like, you have some good perks for people to like give back to. Like you
Absolutely.
you can get your name in a CD, or you can get a whole bundle, like a CD and a T-shirt or whatever, like stuff like that. It always helps. So I'm all for crowdfunding. That's awesome that you got most of your goals. So cool. Let's what were some of your favorite shows with Palaceburn? Like I definitely want to talk about that time you were up on stage with Lajon. Like that that was pretty dope when he showed me.
Well, that was going to be my first answer, actually.
Okay.
Well,
tell me about it. How did that happen?
Oh gosh. Okay, so
we're talking about Lajon from Sevendust, of course.
From Sevendust. So yes. I had sung with LJ before. So we played this really bummy festival out in Woodstock, Virginia, the middle of nowhere, called the Virginia Chili Cook-Off. First of all, there was no chili. So there's that.
What?
Secondly, there was no chili at the chili cook-off. Child, don't even get me started. Don't eat. Let's not.
What the fuck sense does that make? Okay.
Right. And then apparently the promoter was like not gonna pay bands or something along those lines. Like it was a lot. Like these bands were like getting super, and they were like some big names too. Non-Point, 10 Years.
Right.
Soil was on that. So it was like, you messing with some big timers, my guy. Let's not do that.
You're gonna get your ass kicked.
Right, exactly. So we ended up playing like the local stage, which was like a barn on the other side of like the big main stage, right? And then the next thing you know, because obviously I was an artist that played, we had backstage passes.
Right.
So I ended up standing on the side of the stage when Sevendust was playing. And I don't know if like LJ knew that I was a singer or something along those lines. I don't know how he knew that I could sing, right? Had no clue. He comes up during, that was Black. He comes up during Black. And during the second verse.
Now I know why you came up and sang it with us for ours. Mm-hmm, gotcha.
Yep. And then he comes up and just hands me the mic. And it was just only like a little 5-second thing. It was right before you go into the, right before you go into the chorus, where it was just like, I can't even think about it. I'm minding my own business, like that part.
Yep.
And he was just, he just kind of like took it back and just kind of looked at me and was like, "Oh shit, all right, girl." Like, I was like, "Yes, awesome." And ever since then, like I've been known as like the girl that sings with LJ from Sevendust, and I've done it several times, right?
Right.
So getting to Reading. This part's really funny. This was hilarious. So we play at Reverb. It's Sevendust, Westfield Massacre, Like a Storm, and Trivium. Huge bill, right? So that was one of those ones where we had to pre-sell tickets. Right. So we actually came up with the genius idea of doing like a shuttle bus, or the burn bus, as we called it, right? So it kind of made it a package deal that if you buy a ticket, and then spend a little extra, then you'll get, a shuttle right to and from the show, which was really good because Reading is an hour away from Philly.
Right.
So that was really good incentive. And because of that, we were able to sell all of our tickets.
That's really smart.
Oh my God.
Plus,
it was
get a bunch of people on a party bus drinking, having a good time.
Having a good time. Yeah, it was BYOB. We were like drinking and singing all down the road. It was so much fun. So we get there and it's sold out. This is a sold out show, right? We were the last, because we sold the most tickets, we were the last on the bill for the local stage.
Right.
So we had a huge crowd. Like, it was absolutely packed, like wall to wall. We went out there. We absolutely slayed it. People loved us. We ended up selling like a lot of merch. Like, I think we completely like sold out of our merch. It was insane. It was so cool. So of course we're excited. And, I'm at this point I'm sober, but at the time, I was still getting my little drink on, you know what I'm saying? And so our bassist, Logan, at the time had the genius idea of taking fireball shots. Oh. So he was like, yeah, I'm going to buy a round. Like, let's get a round of fireball shots. Blah,
I don't
blah, blah,
fuck
blah,
with fireball anymore.
Child. There are so many reasons that I'm sober, and fireball is one of those reasons.
Yeah, it's not to cut you off, but like fireball really ruined my 28th birthday to the point where like just the smell of it brings back that night, and I get so nauseous. like out of nowhere. Like I can't like fuck with Fireball anymore. Like,
absolutely not.
Oh my! Just thinking about like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the worst, right? Exactly. So
yeah, congrats on being sober though. I'm not, but I mean
you.
I've cut back a lot on my drinking. So
yeah,
no,
thank
congrats.
you so much,
That's awesome.
man. But so we're all taking shots, blah blah blah, having a good old time. So we go out and we start listening to Trivium, and by the time Trivium comes on, I am plastered.
Oh no!
Out of my mind. I was drunk as shit.
You already performed though at this point though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, because if not, your voice would have been fucked.
I know. That's my cardinal rule. That when I was drinking and playing, I said I will never drink before a show.
Exactly.
Never, ever. After the show,
fuck yeah, game on.
All bets are off. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna embarrass my crew like that. Like, no y'all don't want that.
You're a vocalist.
Period.
If you're listening and you're a vocalist, your vocals are your instrument. You have to take care of your instrument.
Absolutely.
After like Meredith said, after you're done, game on. Have all the fun you want. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So by Trivium, I'm like completely plastered on my mind. So I was like, all right, let me slow down, man. Like, let me get some water and stuff like that. Right. And then we're all waiting for Sevendust to come on. And, they come out, they start ripping it, just completely just like blowing the stage up, as Sevendust does, because
always.
That's them. It's natural. And so during Shine, right, I'm front row, but I'm kind of off to the left, near the speakers, right? So you really couldn't see me per se unless you were actively trying to look for where I was at. Guess who was actively trying to look for where I was? LJ.
Nice.
Of course. So he comes over during the beginning of Shine, right? And points to me and like does this little motion like, come here. I was like, oh man, no, I'm drunk. But like, it's LJ. Like, you're not gonna say no to LJ from Sevendust. Like, absolutely not.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, oh God, there's video of it. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, some people were just like, oh, it wasn't that bad. To me personally, as a musician, I'm like, yo, it's bad. Like,
it's bad.
I completely like skipped over a chorus. Right? Because you know how near the end, it's so hard for me to shine. Mm-hmm. It repeats. Mm-hmm. So I forgot that it repeats at the end. And I was singing the completely wrong part. I was pissed. I was like, are you serious? But you know what? Looking back at the tape, you can tell that like all of them were just like cracking the fuck up. And LJ was just like, give us some smoke, like, and give me like the smoke and like the special effects and shit like that. And like LJ was like, he's so nice, right?
I love LJ.
LJ was literally looking at me, and you could see the pictures from it. Like, he was looking at me like a proud dad. It was so cute. It was adorable. Like a black father. Like, look at my baby. Look at my baby go. That's my baby. Like, it's adorable.
I love LJ. The first time I ever met him was before we ever got to play a show with them, and it was my old drummer Mark and I. We went and saw them at the Webster Theater in Connecticut, and we had backstage passes for meet and greet afterward. But Clint wasn't on the tour. He had something was going on. I forget. I think it was a family thing, and there was somebody filling in for him. But
I remember that.
We got to hang out with Morgan and all the guys and LJ and everything like that. And I just remember like walking up to LJ. I'm like, hey, man, what's up, man? It's great to meet you and everything like that. And then, my drummer Mark was like, yeah, we're in a band together in the Red. And he was like, he looks straight at me. He's like, you got a CD for me? I'm like, hell yeah, like, here, have it. I look back now and I'm like, that is the worst sounding album we ever put out because we did it ourselves. And I'm like, I really regret giving that to him because I sound like shit on that record.
Oh, no. Don't you hate that? Don't you hate that shit? It's the worst.
Yeah. But I'm such a huge like critic of my own work, and like I'm self-deprecating all the time about myself.
Honestly,
and in the funniest ways. I gotta laugh at myself. You know what I mean? Like, it is. What it
really,
is,
welcome to being an artist. Like, if we're really gonna keep it a buck, come on now. Like, we're all self-deprecating to a point.
If I can go back in time to that moment with some better music, I would look at myself, just slap it out of my hand, like, no, here, take this, okay?
Right,
like, you'll thank me later.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that was a good time. And then we did an acoustic show with them when their acoustic album came out. And they
Oh,
put
that's
on it.
awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot different. But yeah, like, sorry to interrupt again, but I just wanted to interject a little bit with my.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, they've always been so completely, just utterly kind. I honestly think that they're the nicest guys in the business, for sure.
I remember Vince saying something that night too. He was like, "Oh yeah, it was what was the name of the album? It had Decay on it." Oh my God, it's gonna bother me. It was they were touring on that album. It was before the acoustic one, but we were like, yeah, we got the new album. It's really cool.
Which one? Cold Day Memory?
No, it's God, what is the name of that album? That's gonna bother me now. The song Decay and
hold on. Oh no. Oh my God. It's not All
Black
I
Out the
See
Sun.
Is War. Black Out the Sun.
Black Out
there
the
we
Sun.
go.
Yeah, it just came back to my mind. Yeah, they were touring that album, and we were like, yeah, we got the new album. It sounds really great. And Vince was like, yeah, it makes a good coffee coaster, doesn't it? And I'm just like,
he is a damn fool. Vinny is a mess. I can't with him.
I looked. He was already half in the bag anyway, and he was just like, "Yeah, it makes a good coaster, doesn't it?"
He's so funny. I can't stand. Vinny is a mess. I love him so much. He is very nice too.
I would love to hang out with him. Like,
oh my gosh,
he would be a lot of fun.
I have a picture of after they played the Electric Factory in Philly.
Okay.
It was me and a few of my friends, and Vinny was out there smoking. And we all like kind of grouped together to take a picture. And it's so funny because Vinny looks like the biggest pimp in the world because he has all these like beautiful black women all around him, like 5 of them.
Nice.
And I'm just like, man, Vinny was living his best life that night.
More power to him, man.
Right. Exactly.
For those of you that think bass players don't get any play,
hey, listen.
You ain't met
I don't
Vinny.
know. The boss be getting it, man.
That's awesome, though. Were there any other Sevendust stories, or was that it?
Well, Shiprocked was another one.
Nice.
Oh man, Shiprock 2017, the only year that I got to go. Hopefully there'll be more years, crossing my fingers. But
after COVID, we'll see. Yeah,
right, exactly. I got to LJ came again over to me and sang let me sing the last little riff of Angel's Son,
Aww.
which was incredible. Oh God, that was awesome. That I felt like I kind of redeemed myself a little bit, so that was good. So yeah, I was like, okay, he's still letting me sing with him. So it must have not been that bad.
That's awesome.
So and then I remember Morgan specifically coming up to me and being just like, that was fucking awesome, man. And then really late at night, I want to say it was like 1 a.m. on the boat. I was walking around and it was LJ, Morgan, and oh gosh, Miles, and Mark Tremonti from Alter Bridge. And they're all 4 with their like wives and partners and stuff like that at the bar, just like taking them back. And Shiprocked is usually in January, so my birthday is January 8th. So
Happy
it was
belated birthday.
Thank you. So it's usually a at the time it was a birthday gift to myself. So I had this hat on that said it's my motherfucking birthday. And I remember LJ looking at it, he was like, "Is it really your birthday?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come on over here, girl." And he just like buys me shots.
That's so awesome.
I was like, "Oh." So yeah, so that was lovely as well. And I remember Miles actually, because he was watching the Sevendust show, and he complimented me on my voice, and I'm like,
God.
Miles Kennedy
fucking Kennedy
is complimenting me
on
on my vocals.
That's awesome.
Child. I could have died right there. I was like, I'm done. I'm good.
This is
fantastic.
My nephew hit me up yesterday, and he was like, "Hey, Uncle AJ, I need some metal bands to like get into, and like, cause I want to listen to some rock music." He was like, "I really liked Edge's theme song," and I'm like, "Oh, you're an Alter Bridge fan? All right, well, here's a whole list for you to check out." I was like, "That's my nephew right there. Hell yeah!" Like,
that's awesome.
Oh man, I'm kind of jealous, man. I would have loved to hang out with Sevendust like that. That's pretty dope.
the
Miles
shiprocked
Kennedy and Tremonti too. Hell yeah,
dude.
like
The entire shiprocked community is just so wonderful. Shout out to Shiprock, man.
Hell yeah.
The entire community, like there are people who go like every single year, and they've built a community based off of that. Like there are people who have like developed all these friendships because of being on the boat.
Right.
And what's really cool is that like even before I officially became a shiprocker, right? I felt like I was kind of an adopted one. So everyone was always just like, Meredith, you got to get on the boat. You got to get on the boat. And I finally did. I finally made it. And it's so nice to be able to like walk around and just like see all these bands and all these people that you've grown up listening to and are huge influences. And they're just walking around just like, you know, they're on vacation too, you know what I mean?
Right.
And they're all just like super chill. I remember specifically having a conversation with Lee from Pop Evil. And we sat there and talked for a smooth 20 minutes because I wanted to know, like, as far as like being a person of color, you know, in the rock scene, and, you know, just kind of just giving some advice and stuff like that. He gave me some like really good pointers in regards to that. And it was really nice to be able to like sit down with somebody that's like that, you know, and I don't think I would have had that opportunity if it wasn't for something like Shiprocked.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, that's awesome, though. I know some of my old bandmates did Shiprocked every year, too. Pete and John went every year, almost every year. I just didn't have that kind of cash to do it myself, but it is what it is. But hopefully, like you said, it comes back around because I would love to do that myself, too. And just
you know what it was? You know what it was? Somebody sideswiped my car and completely wrecked it. It was totaled. So I got a very nice check from my insurance company.
Okay.
I was like, thanks, bitch. Thanks for paying for my vacation. Appreciate it.
I guess that's
was like,
looking at.
Yeah, I was like paid in full. Like I used a little bit to get a down payment on another car, but the residual, like I had money left over. I was like, boop. Sounds good.
Just imagine how this went. Like, well, that fucking sucks, but hell yeah, I'm going to Shiprock now.
There you go. Period. Exactly. It was so much fun.
Oh man. So let's you know, switch gears a little bit here. We did talk about Stars Line a little bit, but let's talk about your other single, And You Wonder Why They Kneel.
Yes.
That was so powerful. And when that came out at the most appropriate time, with the Black Lives Matters movement and everything like that, and I rocked the shit out of that song. I thought it was
thank you, man.
So well done, so powerful. I couldn't be more happy for you guys, and you know, it's definitely a great message. And for those of you listening, you know, or watching, I'll be sure to post links down below for you guys to check out Palaceburn's work, of course. But yeah, what was it like? What were you going through mentally, and you know, when you wrote that song, and like the rest of the band, like what was going through your head when you wrote that?
So Kneel has been written for 4 years.
Okay.
I wrote it when Philando Castile was murdered.
Okay.
And it just seemed like, you know, you become so like apathetic to, you know, the mistreatment of Black people, you know, in this country. And the one thing that really bothered me about his actual case, not only the fact that he was murdered in front of his child, like in front of his girlfriend, like in front of, like, the entire family was in the car at the time that he was murdered, but the fact that he was also a legal gun owner, you know, and he was following all the steps. You know what I'm saying? That people say, well, maybe if you just comply with the officer, maybe if you just did what they told you to do. He literally did all of that and was still killed. So for me, it just really resonated with me. It's just like, well, what the fuck is it going to take?
Right.
You know, like, what is it?
Right.
And I remember, you know, being on Twitter and seeing that same sentiment from, you know, Black people just completely just going off about, you know, his murder. And that's what really drove me to write Kneel. Because for me, it was just one of those things where I was just incredibly and utterly frustrated, where it's like, what else can we do to ensure that we are treated fairly as a people when it comes to the police? Right.
You
know, that was the one. And not to say that, you know, the Trayvon Martins and the, you know, Sandra Bland's and that sort of thing don't matter, but that particular one just really, really bothered me.
Right.
So I remember actually sitting down with the guys, because, you know, if people don't know Palaceburn, I'm in a, you know, band with a bunch of white guys. And I was very, you know, cognizant of how this may affect them, you know what I'm saying? And if this was something that they would be comfortable talking about, because it is, you know, it's a hard thing to discuss, especially when you're talking about, you know, playing it live in front of people and how they're going to react and that sort of thing. And I presented the idea to them, and I read them the lyrics, and I was like, guys, like, this is how I'm feeling. I'm very frustrated with the situation, like, and the state of affairs in America. Like, would you guys feel okay putting this into a Palaceburn song?
Right.
And to my surprise, they were completely 110% supportive of me. They were like, awesome. Absolutely, you know what? Let's get it. You know, we support you, you know, as a Black woman, and we feel that it's important for you to get this message out. And whatever it is that we need to do to make that happen, then let's make it happen.
Right.
So yeah,
if it makes you feel any more, if it makes you feel any better, my friend Josh is also of color, and he's also mixed. He's also the lead singer of a band called Fear the Masses, and the rest of his bandmates are also white as well. But their message is more politically driven against social injustice and everything like that too. They just they released one of their new songs. I want to say like a couple months after the pandemic started or whatever. It was like right after everything happened with George Floyd and everything. And it was called Tipping Point. It's almost like a mirrored story of like what you're talking about with your song, because he wrote it years ago about social injustice and racism and stuff like that. And it just fucking killed as well too. Like, that song was just so fucking awesome. Came out at the right time. And I'll have to send you their stuff. They're so good. It's like,
please, by all means,
rap rock, like hardcore, like, you know, if Non-Point, Rage Against the Machine, Sevendust, and all these other like heavy ass bands had a love child, it would be Fear the Masses. So
okay, absolutely. It kind of sounds like Fever 333 a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good band. But yeah, I was as soon as your song came out, I was all over it. As soon as their song came out, I was all over it. I was like, oh my god, these are so well done. So
thank you so very much.
Yeah,
I will say though, I wanted to kick my own ass and challenge myself as a vocalist, apparently, because those notes in that bitch are high. I was like, I remember the first time that we performed it. Gosh, I want to say the first time that we ever played, Neil, was, oh gosh, what was that? There was like this bullshit place in Philly. It was, no. It was Chest Fest. So we used to do a fundraiser for breast cancer research.
Okay.
Because I actually have a cousin who passed away from breast cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So there is a local organization in Philly called the Linda Creed Organization, that is a nonprofit that provides like hospital care and, you know, basically whatever needs that mammograms and stuff like that to women in need in the Delaware Valley. And so we actually played it for the first time at that fundraiser, and I just remember like people were just like, oh my god, like what is this? Like we got some really, really great feedback. So
that's awesome.
It's very unfortunate, you know, that this is still a thing that's going on in our society.
I know.
For it to be relevant 4 years later with George Floyd.
Right.
But I'm very glad that it was able to see the light of day.
Right, exactly. And now you can plainly see like the privilege here too. I mean, like, and for people to compare what happened on the 6th to the protests of last summer, it does not compare at all. Like,
absolutely not.
You have people fighting for equality, and, you know, yeah, riots and everything happened because of it. I mean, like, riots have been happening for social, you know, for racism for years. I mean, look what happened after Martin Luther King was assassinated. Riots happened because of that. And, you know, yeah, you're right. Nothing's changed. And, you know, for them to compare like what happened on the 6th to what happened last year, it does not compare at all, like whatsoever.
Not at all.
No.
From the way that like those people were treated, like terrorists, literally like actually storming the Capitol and like
and being let in.
Yeah. Child,
being
don't
let
even
in.
get me started. Like
Yeah.
it's the privilege for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
It
really
really is. It really
you
is.
know,
And me,
like
me
just
as
being like escorted out, like you're
Right.
a fucking celebrity. Like, come
yeah.
on now.
And me being a white
Seriously.
person to acknowledge that, like, it's fucked. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally fucked.
It was so blatant.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. So yeah.
I can't wait until that cult finally dies off.
You know what was so satisfying to me? So like I said, I'm down in Bedford right now.
Right.
And I was driving, I got my hair cut this morning, and
You look good, girl.
Thank you, honey. So there was a when I passed on the way to my barber, there's a particular house that had a huge Trump 2020 Make America Great Again sign, right? Also with the Blue Lives Matter sort of flag right beside it. So
I love
like
how
you
they
know,
flipped on them, by the way.
I absolutely love like when people tell on themselves. Like it's great.
Yeah.
Like at least you're doing the work for me. I appreciate it. So I passed by today and the Trump flag was gone.
Yep.
I was like,
That's a neighbor down the street from me too.
was
Like,
so- it was just
he's
so
got a
satisfying.
Huge, right. Guy's got a huge flagpole sitting on his lawn with like a giant ass American flag flowing on it. And same thing, Trump 2020. And I'm like, every time I drove by, I'm like, oh, like rolled my eyes and shit. And I'm just like, it's his right, whatever. It's who he's voting for or whatever. But like, just like a couple days ago, he finally took it down. I was like, thank
yes.
God.
Like,
Thank God.
just let the Trumpies fall. Just all of
Yes.
them. They can go.
Yes.
They can go. I'm tired.
We all are.
Right. Exactly. But yeah.
QAnon too. Like, get the fuck out of here. We're all
I
sick
know.
and tired of
Bye.
it. Oh my God.
Exactly.
But let's talk about AEW for a little bit.
Oh man.
This is a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a great great
Okay.
thing. No,
Okay.
it's all good.
All right.
This one's fun.
Okay, cool. So like your song "Believe" is being used by Kenzie Paige as her theme song, which is fucking awesome. By the way,
Thank you.
Like that, when I saw that, I was like, "Holy shit, I know that band!" Like, this pro wrestler's using their music. That's awesome. And then you go from that to opening for singing Chris Jericho's theme song at AEW Revolution. Like, how the fuck did all this happen? If you know, pardon my French, but I mean, like, holy shit.
Twitter. Honestly, Twitter has been, and for reasons that I don't want to speak on this podcast here, I'm no longer on Twitter at this point. However, at the time, I was really big in wrestling Twitter, right? And so the guy who produces the music for AEW, Mikey Ruckus, shout out to Mikey all day. Love him. He's such a sweetheart. Is also from Richmond as well.
Oh, no shit.
So we got to talking and, he actually made a post on his Twitter profile like, hey, I'm looking for music. Like, does anybody, if you guys want to send me your music and stuff like that, please send it to this email. So I did. Didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, whatever. He's probably going to get like thousands of, submissions and that sort of thing.
Right.
And it took him a while to get back to me, but I want to say like maybe 5 or 6 months later, I finally got a message from him on Twitter asking for the masters. And I was like, yay! Thank you. And at the time I had and the thing about it is I sent him the masters again, didn't think, I was like, well, okay, that's great. Right. When is it going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. He didn't really give me any sort of, sign that things were going to happen. And the next thing you know, my mate over in London, Kai, I was talking to him and he was watching AEW Dark. And he messaged me and was like, Meredith, I think I just heard Palaceburn. I was like, no, stop playing. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. So he told me the Dark episode to look up, and there it is. There it is. Kenzie Paige, Red Velvet. I was like, bro, outstanding. Like I've always been a huge wrestling fan,
right.
And so as a musician, that's always been a really huge goal of mine to write an entrance theme, for a wrestler. And Kenzie's wonderful. She's incredibly talented. She's so young. I think she's only 18 and she's just great.
I think my cat just threw up. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I don't know. Yeah, it's in the kitchen. It's fine. I'll clean it up later. Oh my God. This cat's been driving me nuts. I'm sorry, but no, that's awesome though. Did you like, not to get into like money or anything like that, but do they take care of you guys for that, or is it just like free exposure?
Yeah, it's just you know how the business is. It's just exposure.
It's still pretty dope,
which is fine. Which is fine. I mean, you know, if it was something where it was like super big, like if they were using it for like one of their pay-per-views, then I might say something. But nah, it's all good.
All right. So then again, like you sang Chris Jericho's theme song for AEW's Revolution last March, actually, right? Was it?
It's coming February 28th. Yeah. So we're coming up on a year.
Wow, that's so crazy. Like, how did that happen?
So again, Twitter. So the big thing with for people who don't know, Chris Jericho at the time was AEW's world champion. Jericho is a legend. He's been in the business for 25 to 30 some years, right? And so he is also in a band. He fronts this band called Fozzy, and they use Judas as his entrance theme. And so once he started wrestling for AEW, it started to become a thing where the fans would sing his entrance theme down to the ring, and it started off real small at first, and then it just ended up like exploding to the point where every single time that Jericho wrestles, you're going to hear fans sing that song. That's awesome. I was like, okay, so I literally, honestly, dude, I'm going to be honest. I was just bored one day and just trying to find something to do. So I had this app on my phone called Acapella.
I did see that the other day. You posted it from your memories. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's one of those things where it's for musicians, and you can split and record several videos and like splice them all together to make one video. So it's very, very easy to be able to sing certain songs and do different harmonies. So I did that. I sang Judas. It was just the first verse and the chorus, just 1 minute and some change. And I recorded all the different parts. So alto, soprano, tenor, bass, like the underlying, melodies and that sort of stuff. And I posted it on my Twitter. Didn't think that it was gonna go anywhere. I literally was just like trying to share it with like my 2,000 or some followers that I had at the time. Didn't really think much of it. The next thing you know, I don't know who got a hold of it, but it just starts looping and like it gets retweeted and it goes viral. The next thing you know, I have thousands of likes and like hundreds of retweets. And I was just like, oh God, like, oh my goodness,
what did I do?
Is insane. What, right, exactly. Like, oh my God, what did I do? Exactly. I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. And the next thing you know, I was getting ready for work and I opened up my Twitter and I see that Jericho started to follow me. I was like,
oh shit.
Oh God. Okay. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. Whatever. I got to work, and the next thing you know, I open my Twitter again, and there's a DM, and it's from Chris Jericho, like his official verified Twitter. I was like, what in the world? And he was like, hey, so I really love what you did. Could you send it to me, like the video itself, so that I could share it on my other platforms? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Because he had already retweeted it by that point and that sort of thing. And so he started to share it on his Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth. So again, not thinking that anything else was going to happen from it. I just thought that he was going to share it, and that was going to be that. I was like, that's enough for me. That's great. I'll just take that. Le Champion has approved. I'm good.
With a little bit of the bubbly. Yeah.
A little bit of the bubbly. Exactly. So the next thing you know, a few days later, he's like, because I emailed it to him. He gave me his email, and I emailed it to him. The next thing you know, a couple days later, he emails me back, and he said, do you know other people who can sing? And I was like, well, I mean, yes, I do. So I was like, I'm not sure what you're getting at, but yeah, I do. Absolutely. He was like, oh, okay, give me a second. I want to check something with AEW, and I'll be right back. I was like, all right, cool. So this part's funny. I had gotten back from work. I think I had gone to the gym or something like that. And I took a shower. Right. And my boyfriend was in the bedroom, just kind of chilling, doing his own thing. I got out of the shower. I open up my phone again. I get an email from Jericho, and it says, I want you to sing me down to the ring for February 29th at Revolution in Chicago, do you think that you would be able to come up with a choir by then?
Wow.
When I tell you, my fat naked ass screamed like I have never screamed in my life. My poor boyfriend, he was like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" I was like, "Jericho wants me to sing for him," like freaking the fuck out, right? But then, of course, I get back to him and I'm just like, "Yeah, absolutely," just like completely chill, like,
"Oh, of course,
yes,
gotta play it cool."
Absolutely, be able to get a choir to you. Yup, I sure can, sir. Just give me a couple days. I got you. And then, and this is where the musical theater really came into play, because we all had like little Facebook groups, that you like, private Facebook groups or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when we were in rehearsal and stuff like that, we could always talk to one another and so on and so forth. So I go back into those groups and I'm like, "Guys, here's the situation. You're going to be flown out to Chicago, but I need y'all to, dedicate yourselves to rehearsal. I need you to learn this song in a month. Can you do it?" In less than 48 hours, I had the full choir.
That's so dope. That is so dope. And like I said, we were talking before we started recording. Like, I had to look it up again real quick. And like, if you go, for my listeners out there, I'll link it below too. But I mean, if you go on YouTube and you type AEW Revolution Chris Jericho entrance from February, March of last year, 2020, it's the first video that pops up. And just watching it, like, I immediately got chills. Just like, I know that girl. That's fucking Meredith. Hell yeah. Like, oh, that's my fucking homegirl. Hell yeah. Like, that man. Was so dope. Like, yeah, dude. Oh my God.
And that was kind of the cool part about it, is that I, before we started recording, I was saying that I didn't tell anybody. So my boyfriend, obviously the staff at AEW, the choir.
Right.
And maybe my mom and my grandma, because my grandma.
Did you have to sign a contract or something?
No.
Oh,
I just personally wanted it to be a surprise, because
gotcha.
I have so many like wrestling friends, like people that I've like seen pay-per-views with. Like, I have like this whole group of friends, like, that we all like watched pay-per-views and like we talk about wrestling all the time.
So they're all watching this and they're like, "Oh, Meredith's out of town." Like, yeah.
No, but here's the thing. I faked it like I wasn't going. I was like, I couldn't make it out this time. Like, I'm broke. Like, it's really, like, I really shouldn't be spending this money. So everybody have a good time in Chicago, Little did you know. And it was so great because my girlfriend Janelle, she runs with a couple other guys a podcast called the Jobber Tears podcast. Shout out to Jobber Tears. And I told her to record. I didn't tell her why. Right. And so they're at Legends Bar in New York, because that's where they're all from, watching the pay-per-view, and Janelle records their reaction. She does it with two other guys, Sir Wilkins and Mr. Black. When I tell you, these guys flipped out, like screaming at the top of their lungs, and Black was just like, "Oh my God, I know her." It was so adorable. I was like, "Oh, you guys." And of course, like, when I came back, my phone was, I couldn't open my phone. Yeah. I couldn't, like, it shut down for like 15 minutes because of all the texts and all the messages that I was getting from people. Like, people were freaking out. It was insane. I was so glad that it was a surprise. I wanted it to be a surprise for people, and it really turned out really well.
That's awesome. Is there any chance of like working with AEW again, or is that all like?
I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. I've kind of taken a step back again for reasons I don't want to discuss.
Okay.
I've taken a step back from pro wrestling at this point, as far as working in it, but you never know what may happen. So I'm keeping that option open for sure.
Well, it's still very cool like that. You could kick that off your bucket list. Hell yeah. Like,
thank you.
Oh, it's so fucking dope. I saw also a bunch of were they TikTokers that follow Palaceburn, and they've been singing a bunch of your songs, and you've been like posting your reaction video. That is so cool. Like,
dude, TikTok has been like they're kind of going through like a kind of shitty moment right now, because like people are getting shadow banned and people aren't, their videos aren't getting seen. I am definitely one of those people who has suffered from that. But Like, that has been a really, really big thing as far as getting people to listen to Palaceburn. And, you know, it's so funny how it's very, like, cover based. Like, not there are some original musicians who are able to thrive. It really depends on the genre of music that you do.
Right.
But for the most part, people really enjoy seeing covers on there. So I remember back in July, I posted a cover of this rap song called Then Leave. And there was a guitarist, his name is Toby Paik, and he plays like metal riffs over like rap songs and pop songs and that sort of thing. So there's a feature where you can duet, and you can duet with somebody, right? So he plays his little guitar riff, and then I started screaming over it. When I tell you, I posted that video, and within an hour, I had 20,000 likes. I was like, oh my God, like, what is going on? Like, you know what? The messed up part about TikTok is that it's never the ones you want to blow up.
Right.
It's always the ones where you're just fucking around and just having some fun and you're not being serious.
Right.
And those are the ones that go viral. I'm like, are you serious?
You're just meant to go viral, like, in the best possible ways.
It's
like, you
wild.
know, it's so crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? And that day, I remember specifically, we got the most streams of Breathless that we had ever had. Because when you look up Palaceburn on Spotify, it's the number one song that shows up. And so people, because of my link tree, people were just downloading and listening to Breathless, and like our streams like skyrocketed.
That's awesome.
It was incredible. All over some stupid ass little TikTok that I did. It was insane.
That's so cool. Oh man, I'm hoping that I have just a little bit of success like you've had. Like, that is so awesome. Like, I'm hoping this podcast gets there, but we'll see.
There you go.
We'll see. I'm also hoping to get back into music again down the road. So
yes, please.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm working with some guys. We were supposed to write something over the break, but it hasn't happened. Mm-hmm. Sorry, listeners. I was working with some friends. I still am, but I'm waiting on them to send me some stuff to work with. So
mm-hmm.
Everyone's busy. I get it. You know what I mean? But it is.
Of course.
But I plan on putting out a solo album before I turn 40. So I've got
do it
6
awesome,
more years.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you and I are the same age.
Yeah, I turned 34.
Yay! There you go. Yeah, that was very interesting turning 34 this year because, of course, you know, with the pandemic and stuff like that. Like, Sevendust actually did a live stream. They played. Yep, they played the entire Animosity album. It was incredible. But it was just like, I'm just sitting at home, you know, I made like a little cake for myself.
Right.
I'm watching a live stream. Like, it's just, this is weird. It's so weird.
I just watched a live stream recently. Shout out to my boy Opus from Dead by Wednesday. He has an annual birthday bash that Toad's Place in New Haven hosts for him every year.
Mm-hmm.
And he usually has like a lot of major people coming in. He's had Jamie Josta. He's had Brian from Shadows Fall.
Oh man,
like a bunch of big time players. But this year they live streamed it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it was pre-recorded. Except for his performances and stuff like that. Those were live streamed. But Mark Rizzo was a part of it.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, like it was just really well done this year. And like I get it. It was that weird feeling of just being like, I'm washing my dishes right now and I'm watching this concert. Like, I never thought I would ever mix the two together. Like,
exactly.
It was just so weird, but it was very well done. So
that's good. Yeah. No, Sevendust's ones have been amazing as well. I know that Lamb of God did one, which was, I loved that one because there was a Bleed From Within opened for them. Okay. And I had never seen that band before, and they absolutely smashed it. They were wonderful. And then Lamb of God played it locally. They played at a place called the Broadberry, which is in Richmond, very well known venue. And that one was pretty cool. I know tonight for me is Fire from the Gods, Hira the Hero, and Il Nino. So that's going to be a good one. I'm very excited to see that.
God,
so
I haven't seen El Nino in so long.
I know, me neither. I'm excited. It's going to be a good one for sure. So yeah.
Well, let's wind this down. Wow, that really. I was worried about time earlier, but now
I told you
we're over it now. So
I told you. I was
awesome.
like, I'm not worried. I was like, I can just keep on doing this. We good.
This is great, Meredith. What does Palaceburn have going on right now?
So we are currently in the studio. We are working on pre-production for the next record. We are writing as much as humanly possible. So we still, right now we're working on a single called The Empress, which we have played live a few times. We're just finally getting down to actually like recording it.
That actually sounds familiar. I think have you had that for a while? Because that
we have, yeah.
Familiar. Okay.
Yeah, we have. I love that song. I love playing that song. It's awesome. So really excited about that. We're really trying to work on our social media presence. So we've really talked about, doing like little playthroughs and stuff like that, and little behind the scenes work. We do have a Patreon that is open, patreon.com/Palaceburn. So if you want to become, a patron and, do all that other sort of stuff, we really, really appreciate it. But yeah, so really, really trying to focus on writing and getting some new material out there for sure. Using the quarantine, to our best ability.
And that's all we can do is write, get ready, because once shit goes back to some sort of normal, fucking there's gonna
hit
be
the ground running
everywhere. Oh
yep,
my god,
exactly.
Where can people find you?
I am Meredith Bell PB on Instagram. So there's that. On TikTok as well. Facebook.com/Palaceburn. We are on there. And our music is available on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to your music. We also have a music video for both Stars Align and You Wonder Why They Kneel. So please, if you get some time, go check those out on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Subscribe and like and all that other sort of shit. And yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. I'm gonna plug some of my own stuff, and then we'll talk a little bit off air too, and then we'll go from there. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I just want to thank everybody again. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for tuning in once again. We are back. Feels good to be back. Shaking off the rust. Believe it or not, this is the third time running through.
The third
My
time.
God.
Yeah, I told you third time was the charm.
Yeah, right?
I told you.
But yeah, we're officially back now. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. If you don't mind hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to get notified every time we drop a new video. We're also available on all major podcast networks, Spotify, Apple, Google. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review, 5-star rating. I'd love to read it on the show. You can email us at roadswe'vetravelpodcast@gmail.com. If you guys have any stories, about stuff that's been going on during quarantine and you want to talk or, get some advice, hit me up. I'd love to talk to you or read it on the show. You can follow the show at facebook.com/roadswe'vetravelpodcast. And guess what? We're finally on Twitter and Instagram. I have to find a way how to do both, but you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RWTpod. Be sure to check that out. And not only do we have those, we're also on Patreon now. I finally got my ass in gear and launched a Patreon. Patreon.com/roadswe'vetraveled. Become a Patreon member today and, get exclusive perks and stuff like that and help support the show. It'd mean a lot to me. You can get some merch on TeePublic. Check us out. And, yeah, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/JRBuckleGaming. I stream on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. I played Mass Effect last night for a little bit, which was fun. And you can check out my portfolio at www.alanmpelletierjr.com. Okay, that's all the plugs, I promise. Meredith, this was awesome. I love catching up with you. We got to do this again. I have to have you come back on the show again soon.
Absolutely, dude. Hopefully next time, there won't be a deadly pandemic going on, and then I can be with the rest of the guys as well. So
Absolutely.
I'll bring one of those knuckleheads on, do some chatting. We'll do it up.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, take care.